Hello, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about conspiracy theory number 2, and it's not like when it comes to the numbering of these videos, it's not like this is the second most talked about conspiracy theory in the world. It's just kind of like how I'm numbering them, because I would assume that there's going to be a fair amount of these videos, and so I figured I'd just be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. It's just the way I'm doing it. But getting into the topic of today's video, today we're talking about Antarctica. And if you know anything about Antarctica, there was a treaty signed in 1959, and basically it was kind of like no country can go there or explore there. And that's not to say nobody lives there, but the only people who do live there are scientists, and it's essentially closed off to the public. So the only way you can go there is like, like visiting. There are tourist spots in Antarctica, but like everything else is just like, you don't get to see that part. So kind of like, North Korea in a sense, where it's like they only show you what they want you to see or what they allow you to see. And the thing that gets me about this is that, we're always at each other's throats, and especially now more than ever. I mean, at the time of recording this, it is January 5th, 2026, and the president of the United States had kidnapped the Venezuelan president. Like, that's not good. So, and his wife. But we're always at each other's throats, and we can never seem to agree on anything. So whether that be like ending world hunger or poverty, but for some reason all the countries in the world can agree that nobody can go to Antarctica. Nobody. So closed off to the public. And the weird part about this is that it's supposed to be, what they say is, oh, it's just, like a barren wasteland, just a bunch of ice. Nothing there. So it's like, if there is nothing there, if it is just a bunch of ice, why can nobody go there? And now this is where it gets into the conspiracy part of the video. There was an expedition in 1946 led by Admiral Byrd, and it was 13 ships and 33 aircrafts. And it was like the largest expedition, in Antarctica. And essentially the guy flew there, and then he came back. And when he came back, as soon as he came back, he went live on television, and he was explaining to the public the things he had seen. And I could probably find a clip. The guy could do a way better job of the guy himself, the guy who went there, could do a way better job of explaining it than I could.
Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
The North Pole used to be a no man's land, but these are the days when, by buying a ticket on a commercial airliner, you can fly across the North Pole and drink a cocktail at the same time. Only 30 or more years ago, about 35 years ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
This is a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Well, Admiral, do you hope?
But essentially, he comes back and he's like, yep, I saw lush green lands and this whole civilization. And then shortly after that, then the treaty was signed that like, oh yeah, nobody can go there. It's like, okay, that's weird. And I would actually like to reference my previous video, conspiracy theory number 1, where I had talked about the Bayside Mall incident. And the interesting part about this is that if you reverse the coordinates from the Bayside Mall, and you can literally just do this in Google Maps. You can take the coordinates from the Bayside Mall, put it in reverse, like the X and Y, and it gives you a place in Antarctica. Again, like, weird. My 2 cents is that there definitely is something in Antarctica, and they don't want the general public to know about it, so they kind of just hide it, and they say like, oh yeah, nothing's there, just ignore everything else that's going on here. Here's like these little tourist spots that you can get to, but everything else, like, leave that for us. You can trust us. And one of the islands of Antarctica, let me just look this up. One of the islands for Antarctica is called Deception Island. Like, what? You will notice a trend with these conspiracy theory videos that like, they have to put the truth in plain sight, otherwise they believe they'll be punished for it. The actual name is like karmic retribution, or like the laws of the universe. But they basically have to put it in plain sight, so they'll put it in like media, or you know, like, yeah, like music, movies, video games, stuff like that. And people just kind of like take it as fiction because they're like, oh yeah, it's not real, you know, whatever. And in that way, nobody like believes it because it's like, ah, it's just a movie, you know. But going back to Admiral Byrd, shortly after he had went on television and again talked about all of his discoveries, the expedition, what was there, what he saw, coincidentally, he died. And like his notebook was found missing. I talked about the stuff that he saw while he was there. Just another coincidence, you know. And this is like another, again, you will notice a trend, the more videos of these that I make, that coincidentally, when somebody goes out to talk about the things they have discovered, or like there's a new there's a new breakthrough in the scientific field, they coincidentally die of like mysterious illness, like a heart attack. Whoa, that's crazy. He was in perfectly good health like a couple of days ago. How could that have happened? No way. Yeah. But that concludes the topic of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did talking about it. And with that being said, you guys take care.